afternoon and welcome to the celebration of the 160th anniversary of the Philippine Forestry Service. We are gathered here today at the DENR Heroes Park, which honors the courageous individuals who have devoted their lives to the preservation and conservation of the environment. The Vitex parviflora, most commonly known as Molave, is a hardwood tree that is native in the Philippines. It is known for its exceptional strength and durability, rapid growth, and capacity to adapt to a wide range of environmental conditions. Molave is not just a symbol of strength, but also a lifeline for biodiversity. Today, it is being planted as a symbol of hope and a sustainable and greener future. Thank you, Mr. President. At this point, may we invite the President, Secretary Yulo Loizaga, House Speaker Martin Romualdez, and Special Assistant to the President Antonio Lagdemeo Jr., and our other distinguished guests to DENR Multipurpose Hall for the program. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. We may now be seated. Good afternoon. We are gathered here today for the Forest for Life, the 160th anniversary of the Philippine Forestry Service. To begin our program, may we call on Department of Environment and Natural Resources Secretary Maria Antonia Yulo Loizaga to give her welcome remarks.
His Excellency President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr., Honorable Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, Senator Cynthia Villar, Secretary Antonio Lagdameo Jr., Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr., Secretary Jose Rizalino Jerry Acuzar, Secretary Cheloy Garafil, our environmental partners, and distinguished guests. Good afternoon and welcome to the DENR celebration of the Philippine Environment Month, the 160th year anniversary of the Philippine Forestry Service, Philippine Arbor Day, which was yesterday, and the advanced celebration of the DENR's 36th anniversary. On behalf of the department, I wish to extend our warmest welcome and thanks to our President and our distinguished guests for joining us today. By beginning with the tree planting, we remind ourselves of the essential importance of forests in maintaining ecological balance and integrity, in mitigating and adapting to climate change, and to enhancing biodiversity. They are our life support, without which water, energy, and food security would be impossible. The site on which the President's Molave seedlings and the other seedlings planted by our honorable guests were planted also holds a special significance. The Environmental Heroes Park was established in remembrance of all those who have made the supreme sacrifice in order to protect our country's environment and natural resources. Today, the task of conservation and protection continues in the hands of 100 men and women of the Corps Forest Management Bureau, our forest rangers, who in some cases cover between 2,000 to 4,000 hectares for a single ranger, local forest protection officers, and our partners in the DILG, the AFP, and the DOJ, who support our environment enforcement efforts. As the conservation, protection, and increase of our forests are all critical to inclusive, resilient, and sustainable development, DENR's targeted prioritization of 1 million hectares of classified forest areas for afforestation and reforestation will support lives and livelihoods so that no one and no community is left behind, and accelerate the delivery of our global commitments towards building a low-carbon, green, and blue future. To achieve this, partnerships with those genuinely committed are critical, as the DENR cannot achieve this alone. We need to work across departments with agencies and LGUs, the academe, private sector, and non-government and people's organizations to protect, enhance, and sustainably manage our forest resources. This convergence will ensure that the goals of the community-based forest management, which started with the Integrated Social Forestry Program of the government established by President Ferdinand E. Marcos in 1982, along with those of our Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028 are fully realized. We are stewards of one of the world's most mega-diverse countries. Our communities and the world look to us to provide the quality of life this generation and the generations to come truly deserve. The DENR Forest Management Bureau, under this administration's leadership, leads the way towards climate and disaster resilience, the protection of life on land and underwater, and to poverty reduction, thus delivering both national and global dividends towards inclusive, resilient, and sustainable development. To recall the history of the Philippine Forest Service, may we now air the video.
Our forests are our country's life support system, and the Forest Management Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources is mandated to provide the technical guidance to protect, develop, and conserve Philippine forest lands and watersheds. First established in 1863, when the Spanish government created Inspección General de Montes to gather data on forests, its resources, and regulate use. It was reorganized in 1899 when President Emilio Aguinaldo established the Inspección General de Montes y Minas, the predecessor of today's Department of Environment and Natural Resources. By the turn of the century, the Bureau of Forestry was founded with George P. Ahern as its first director. In 1937, Florencio Artamesis became its first Filipino director. In 1974, President Ferdinand E. Marcos issued the Forestry Reform Code of the Philippines, which created the Bureau of Forest Development. In 1987, the Forest Management Bureau was created under Executive Order Number 192. Today, more than half of the Philippines' 15 million hectares of forest land is covered with forests. The country saw an increase in its forest cover by about 5% between 2010 and 2020. Forestry contributes to the country's economy through exports to our major trading partners. 2,211,981 hectares of forests are under forest tenure instruments. In 2021, the country was able to produce 827,022 cubic meters of logs and 138,293 cubic meters of lumber. Region 13 is the largest producer for both. Forests are also valuable for the ecosystem services they provide, such as flood management, soil erosion control, and the protection of headwaters as the source for water for irrigation, power generation, safe water for drinking and sanitation, carbon stock storage capacity, and potential for sequestration. The DENR constantly looks for new ways to involve partners in the private sector, the academe, communities, and civil society. During the President's state visit to Japan, the DENR partnered with Marubeni Philippines Corporation and DMCI Holdings to develop forest carbon projects in Negros Occidental. The DENR is working with Shell Filipinas Corporation as well for Project Tarsier in Leyte, bringing together the academe, private sector partners, and communities. Additionally, DENR joined Prime Infra to reforest 1,800 hectares in the upper Marikina River Basin to help secure our water supply. The department is also identifying 1 million hectares nationwide for more forest protection and investments. The DENR supports all major river basins through the National Greening Program and Improved National Forest Protection Program. Within these river basins are the country's critical watersheds supporting the national irrigation system. The DENR has prioritized 131 of these watersheds with a total area of around 14 million hectares. By 2028, the DENR aims to complete the dynamic geospatial analysis of our blue and green ecosystems to support the Natural Capital Accounting System and our Philippine Development Plan. These programs aim to identify the country's carbon stocks, increase sequestration potential, and usher in the Philippines' participation in the international carbon and biodiversity markets. The Philippine Forestry Service continues to look to the future, finding new ways of working and convergence between green, blue, and gray infrastructure for an inclusive, resilient, and sustainable forest management.
Thank you very much. On this note, ladies and gentlemen from the DENR and our distinguished guests, may I introduce our guest of honor, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
Thank you very much, our DENR Secretary Maritoni Yulo Loizaga. Please take your seats. House Speaker Congressman Martin Romualdez, Senator Cynthia Villar, my fellow workers in government, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Allow me to congratulate the Department of Environment and Natural Resources on celebrating the Philippine Environment Month, the Philippine Arbor Day, and the 160th anniversary of the Philippine Forestry Service. Today, I am reminded of the tree planting activity that we conducted on my birthday last year. And I remember stressing how vital trees are to our existence and how taking care of the environment redounds to the benefit of the present and, more importantly, future generations. All of these thoughts led me to wonder, how often, if at all, do our citizens consciously think of our ecology and resources? Stuck in our day-to-day routine, it is possible for us to treat the needs of the earth at the same level of importance as our own needs. Yet, one thing is certain. Our role as custodian of Mother Earth holds much value, especially when united in terms of purpose and of direction. The Philippine Forestry Service, now the Forest Management Bureau, has been on top of protecting and conserving our forests since 1863. And as such, it is only right that we commemorate your anniversary to further inspire progress in preserving our trees and our forests in these coming years. Recognizing the urgent call for environmental preservation, my father declared every 5th day of June as World Environment Day in our country. This act was an act of unity with the international community to raise awareness and take steps towards environmental protection and sustainability. Having observations like these are critical in nurturing a deeper consciousness amongst our people in preserving the environment, as well as in addressing the problems caused by climate change and the centuries of mismanaged resources. The protection and rehabilitation of biodiversity within and around our shores will be immensely influential in shaping our destiny as a nation. This administration is committed in ensuring environmental integrity and sustainability for the benefit of our present and future generations. I continue to call on the DENR, other agencies, the private sector, and even the public to work together in connecting, preserving, and managing our limited resources. I challenge everyone to carry a deep sense of pride and ownership of the lands that will continue to nurture and feed our nation for generations to come. The world that we have today and that we face is a very different world from what we came into. And the importance of the environment, the importance of biodiversity has become clearer and clearer. We have had many warnings over decades by scientists and saying that unless we change our habits, unless we change our lack of sensitivity to our environment, there will be global warming. There will be climate change. Unfortunately, we did not listen. And now we are resigned to the 1.5 degrees Celsius increase in our global temperature, and perhaps that might even reach 2 degrees Celsius if we do not do something about it. And that is why we in the Philippines must be very, very conscious. I must say that I think that Filipinos in general are more aware about the importance of preserving our natural resources, about preserving our forests, about preserving our biodiversity, and the benefits that will come not only to our effort to be part of the solution to the effects of climate change, but also because Filipinos are the most vulnerable to climate change that we have. And what is the answer to this problem? The answer to this problem is our forest land. And now the change that has come, the different changes that have come in the international economy have now put they started with the determination of damage and loss for us developing countries, from the developing countries, as they take responsibility for the industrial revolution that brought about these emissions, carbon emissions into the air. And that started it off. But now it has entered into the business community, where we are now able to put a peso value to our forest land. We are able to determine that this can be in exchange for carbon emissions in another place. And these are the kind of strategies, these are the kind of new concepts that are being developed so that we can be very clear and make it easy for those who are taking care of our forest lands to feel not only a benefit for doing the right thing, but also an economic benefit. As long as people have a sense of ownership, as long as people have a sense of belonging and being a part of that system of preserving the forest, and addition to that, that we are able to show an economic benefit, then I know Filipinos will do everything that they can to preserve our ecology, to preserve our forest land, to preserve our biodiversity. This is a concept that we developed. If you remember those in the forestry, I'm sure that you will remember that the biggest ADB finance project of the FDPIN was in Ilocos Norte. And the way that we structured it was simply to say, having planted all the trees that we were going to plant, nag-watershed development kami, gumawa kami ng mga cooperative para sa planting. And the only way that we were able to guarantee that this will be a self-sustaining program, that once we leave, that those locals who live in those areas will actually take care of those trees, was to give them a sense of ownership. And we did this simply by saying, these trees are yours. It is up to you to take care of them. It is up to you to use them. And I am happy to be able to report that those trees up to now are growing are strong and are continuing to cover a great deal of our forest land, and now also the watershed developments that we had started. It is a model that we have to start, that might be a template, but it is only a starting point, because there are so many different factors in play now. But we have to be conscious about, to make sure that we are able to take full advantage of the resources that are available to us to preserve our forest land and to give that sense of ownership to our people, so that they will do everything that they can to protect what in essence belongs to them. I'm certain that if we take care of it, Mother Nature will take care of us in return and give us the capacity to grow and flourish in a brighter and more prosperous future that we all dream about. Maraming salamat sa inyong serbisyo. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay ang ating mga foresters. Mabuhay ang DENR. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas.
Thank you, Mr. President. And now, may we request the President to kindly grant us a photo opportunity. May we invite on stage the national government officials and DENR undersecretaries with red stickers. May we request the DENR development partners to please prepare. Thank you. Please exit to your right. May we invite on stage the DENR development partners and other government officials with green stickers. May we request the DENR assistant secretaries to please prepare. Thank you. Please exit to your right. May we invite on stage the DNR Assistant Secretaries with blue stickers. May we request the DNR Regional Executive Directors to please prepare. Thank you. Please exit to your right. May we invite on stage the DNR Regional Executive Directors with purple stickers. May we request the members of the Forest Management Bureau Executive Committee and Service Directors to please prepare. Thank you. Please exit to your right. May we invite on stage the Forest Management Bureau officials and the DNR Service Directors with orange stickers. May we request the next set of DNR Service Directors to please prepare. Thank you. Please exit to your right. Finally, may we invite on stage the next set of DNR Service Directors with light blue stickers. Thank you. Please exit to your right. Thank you, Mr. President, for granting us a photo opportunity. That concludes our program for today. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Everyone, we will have a group photo opportunity with the President. Thank you, Mr. President.